Yomilover here. I just wanted to make a video talking about The Wild Robot that I went to go see in theaters last Friday. It was actually really good. I want to say that this is probably the best movie of the year. DreamWorks has a hit on their hands because this movie has a lot of heart. Even though it's just about a robot that most people would not give a second thought to because, people have seen robots these days. But this movie has a lot of heart. It actually has a soul, you know what I mean? And the story is basically about a robot that crash lands on an island with a bunch of wild animals, and they don't exactly know the language at first, but then they just start to translate the language slowly in their systems and decipher what the animals are saying. So that explains how the animals are able to talk. And I gotta say that the voice work on this movie is really good. I think Pedro Pascal as Fink does a really good job, and Lupita Nyong'o as Roz is really good. Kit Connor as Brightbill was really great. Brightbill's character is really just, it's kind of like, how can I say this? It doesn't really stand out, but Roz's character is really the heart of the film, because she's trying to raise this little gosling when she gets to the island, and it's because she needs a task, and usually humans are the ones that give her the tasks, but she is just barely activated, and so she basically goes on what these animals are saying and just takes the task of basically being a mother to Brightbill. And if you're a parent and you're watching this movie, you'll get some of the feelings and conflicts that she's going through as she's raising this little gosling. And the animation for this movie is spectacular. They went above and beyond. It wasn't like Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, where the animation is just off the charts and amazing, but the animation for this movie is beautiful. Everything is great about it. I gotta say that I enjoyed watching this movie for the spectacle of it. I have to say also that this movie is based off a book series that I haven't read yet, but the movie entices me so much to go out and just buy the book and see what I'm missing, some of the details of the story that I'm not getting, because it feels like they condensed most of part 1 and part 2 of the books into one movie, which I don't have a problem with, because they weren't seeking to continue the story because they didn't know if they had a hit on their hands, but they definitely have a hit, so I wouldn't mind seeing The Wild Robot continue in The Wild Robot Escapes, because I do like this story so far. It's very futuresque, very futuresque. I gotta admit, to some people who are technocrats and just, whizzes out there at math, they're gonna love this movie because this movie just presses all the right buttons. And some of the humor in this movie is kind of like nature versus nurture, where, they're animals, so you get it. But there's this one scene in the movie where Fink, the fox, kicks Brightbill, and he's just like, swim! That's how you learn! He just kicks him. And it's just, it's like, oh my gosh, they're animals. But some of the animals don't exactly warm up to Roz as she's on the island. They warm up to her eventually towards the end of the film, which I think is very heartwarming. That was very, adorable, and that they all came together and they stopped fighting each other for once because Roz brought them together. And they were able to, survive the winter. So this movie has a lot of layers to it. I gotta say that if you're looking for a good time, this movie is a feel-good movie. It doesn't, rub you the wrong way. A lot of people coming out of the theater, I was passing people who were watching the Joker movie. Joker of Folie à Deux, I think. That's how you say it in French. I didn't hear good things about it. People were like, this movie sucks, dude. And I'm just like, oh, thank God I didn't go see it. I didn't waste my money on that. I went to go see The Wild Robot. And I don't regret it at all. I don't regret watching a movie that was, tailor-made for all audiences. And the voice actors are so good. I hear that Mark Hamill is in this movie. Mark Hamill is pretty good in this movie. I think he plays the bear, and I didn't even notice it was him. That's how good the voice acting is. And another actor that I really like is Matt Berry. He plays Paddler, the beaver, and I think he was well put in that role. That was fantastic. I like Matt Berry. He plays some good roles in What We Do in the Shadows. He's pretty funny in that show. I don't think anybody's seen that movie, or not movie, but that show. But if you have seen that show, then you know what I'm talking about. And he recently made an appearance in the new Amazon show. Not movie. The new Amazon show, let's see, Fallout. And that was pretty good. And people said that that was a hit too. So I'm just gonna cut this review very short. Go see The Wild Robot. It won't be a waste of your time because it has a lot of heart, the animation is great, the story is great, and it's condensed into a film that you could just watch as a standalone feature. And I like standalone features because these days everything's a franchise, nothing ends, and it seems like the most films that have the most impact are the ones that are just singular stories compact into one movie. So those that finally end are pretty good. But like I said, I wouldn't mind a continuation of this movie because it was such a success at the box office. The Wild Robot Escapes. But I mean, that's up to DreamWorks if they want to do that. If they don't want to do that, I mean, that's fine too. They want to work on other projects, they can. But I think they have a hit on their hands. Like, everybody was, there were some emotional parts in this movie that, like when Roz says goodbye to Bright Bill and she sees him off, that was pretty emotional. And there's that scene where she meets Bright Bill for the first time as he's hatching, and that was really emotional too. It was, it was the big moment where she had a big heart, and she starts to change as a, I want to say computer, because that's what she kind of is. But, this movie has so many, layers to it. It was so good to watch. But, yeah, go see The Wild Robot. I guarantee you won't regret anything. It's great. Alright, that's all I wanted to say. Peace.